What's up guys, welcome back. This is Anime Crossover. You'll be watching What If Naruto Was a Kryptonian in Marvel Part 7. Now let's begin. So, this is the Power Stone, Amora remarked, her voice filled with awe. She stood alongside Hera in his lab, where he diligently prepared for a ritual that held the promise of freeing her from Asgard's relentless power drain. Yes, Naruto replied. Do you believe I can regain the abilities that were once common among my kind? Amora questioned once more, having just finished describing the capabilities they used to possess, while Hera shared her recollections. The ritual is almost prepared. I wonder when she will arrive, Hera pondered, examining the carefully drawn circle on the ground. Hera possesses exceptional magical abilities and is comparable to Amora in terms of her extensive knowledge of magic. However, she has a strong passion and deep connection to ritualistic magic, which exceeds my own. Indeed, Naruto possesses the ability to read and retain information from a book, but he lacks the same level of dedication as she does when it comes to exploring rituals. In fact, she has even gone so far as to create some rituals herself. However, she has encountered the same significant obstacle that he faced: insufficient supply of mystical resources. Indeed, while Naruto did acquire some items from Olympus, it is important to note that these materials are primarily suited for beginners and are quite rare on Earth. People who have acquired magical materials often spend a significant amount of time searching for or creating their own. Occasionally, they may even attempt to trade with dimensional beings, but unfortunately, they often end up being taken advantage of or requesting the wrong item. Only the most skilled individuals, such as the Sorcerer Supreme and the Masters of the Sanctums, have the privilege of accessing the magical materials at Kamar Taj. Despite the limited variety, they offer only a small selection of about 6 materials. Several sorcerers have been fortunate enough to come across one that they didn't require, and they generously donated them to Kamar Taj. Those who formed lasting friendships with them. That is the significance of any magical material, and Naruto was not referring to Uru. Indeed, he has already provided them with a considerable portion of it, including granting them access to his personal metals. The quantity doesn't faze him in the slightest, as he possesses the ability to effortlessly produce more. It is important to consider the level of expertise and preparedness of others, as this can alleviate some of the burden on me. Everything appears to be in order, remarked Hera, having completed her inspection. Now we patiently await her arrival, Naruto stated. How much stronger do you anticipate your growth will be? Amora inquired. I honestly don't know, but based on my understanding of Asgardians, you should be able to handle some formidable opponents, he informed her. Amora's lack of formal training was evident before she started working with me. When I asked her about it, she confirmed that she was self-taught. She and her sister faced financial hardship, and after their father, who worked as a guard, passed away, their mother chose to be with someone of higher social status, leaving them behind. Amora successfully acquired a magic book containing a limited understanding of Asgardian magic from a store authorized by Odin for study. She absorbed all the knowledge and started teaching herself, and later her sister. Expanding her repertoire of magic, she has learned a great deal from the esteemed Kamar Taj, a renowned source of knowledge. She went through a significant amount of trial and error, at times resulting in her being unable to function for weeks or even months. A portal opens up as the Ancient One emerges with scratches on her face alongside my racer. Are you prepared? She asked, her breath coming in heavy gasps. Naruto promptly conjured a chair and tea for her to relax on. Thank you, she said, taking a moment to unwind. All right, we will be liberating her from the control of Asgard, particularly Odin, he remarked, recalling a specific comic where Odin exerted his influence over all Asgardians on Earth. The extent of the power that will be unleashed remains uncertain, as it is widely acknowledged that Amora possesses immense potential that has been suppressed, with a significant portion of her magical abilities being channeled into Asgard itself, the Ancient One commenced. Are you certain that you all want to proceed with this? Removing a deity's power is likely to provoke their anger. She kept talking despite my interruption. I am confident in my abilities, and it's clear that the longer these individuals stay on Earth, the more harm they bring. I understand that they may have devised strategies to try and overcome me, but even then, their attempts might prove unsuccessful, Naruto stated. Naruto had multiple strategies in place to eliminate them if necessary, but the situation is further complicated by the fact that the Egyptian gods have begun possessing individuals to further their own agendas. Moon Knight's upcoming activity is imminent. So, are we prepared to start? The Ancient One inquires as she rises to her feet. Yes, they all concurred as Amora confidently stepped into the center of the ritual circle. surrounded by intricate runes. The Power Stone in his hand and the Time Stone emitted a radiant glow. They started chanting, and before long, the circle illuminated, revealing the energy flowing from the Infinity Stones. I drew inspiration from My Hero Academia, particularly Ares' quirk. They were able to sever her connection to Asgard by harnessing the power of the stone. Nevertheless, as soon as they ceased, Amora found herself reconnected to it once more. They were able to reverse time and break the link when it was first created. Over the centuries, the link has grown stronger by absorbing more and more magic. With the Power Stone in play, the link can be destroyed, but Asgard possesses the expertise to repair and reinforce it, making it incredibly difficult for any alterations to be long-lasting. Amora lets out a loud cry of pain as she collapses onto her hands and knees. It appears that power is flowing towards her in waves. Eventually, Amora's body was consumed by smoke. Ultimately, the circle was consumed by the power of the Infinity Stones. Hera and Naruto visited Amora, and it is clear that Amora is no longer connected to Asgard. Amora is experiencing a noticeable shift as her magic begins to seep out in waves, causing subtle alterations to her appearance. Her hair appears to have a noticeable shine and a noticeably softer texture. Her physique starts to develop increased muscle mass. She experienced a noticeable change in her physical appearance, with her bust size increasing and a slight increase in height. Soon, it's over as she faints, but before she falls to the floor, I swiftly catch and carry her in a graceful manner. Her physique is impressive, and Naruto can clearly perceive the growth of her strength. The impact of Asgard's power drain is significant. He is confident that Odin has already experienced the immense power that Amora has regained. How will he respond? He considered it as they returned home. Amora is currently unconscious as a result of the immense power she has absorbed. He casually observes Thor in New Mexico, revealing a surprising level of understanding as he effortlessly embodies the role of Donald Blake. His exceptional abilities as an Asgardian are still evident as he pursues a career in medicine. Loki's perspective: I am currently working diligently to expand my knowledge about my sister. Despite facing the formidable Odin and utilizing the power of the scepter, I am still striving to catch up to him. However, I am making significant progress in my efforts to surpass him. Soon, I hear my new hammer arriving as it breaks through the ceiling and into my hand. Lightning crackles from it as I bulk up and gain a build similar to Thor. Power fills my being as I finally shatter Odin's barriers. However, I must be careful as I unintentionally destroy his memories one by one after seeing them. I gain valuable insights from observing his actions, witnessing his betrayal of his brothers and his role in their demise at the hands of Surtur, allowing his father to pass away and taking the life of his mother after confessing his actions. She engaged in a strategic encounter with Frigga while under the influence, aiming to forge an alliance with the Vanir through the possibility of pregnancy. At last, I arrive at my sister's place and witness their impressive achievements. So that's where all of the gold came from, I mutter to myself, quietly absorbing Odin's memories and leaving him as a mere source of energy for my newfound power. I search for Sif, who has managed to break free from her new captors, as well as my mother, who has also successfully escaped. With a mischievous grin on my face. After a span of 2 weeks. Naruto's perspective: there have been significant developments recently. Thor is making progress in his pursuit of Jane Foster. My Eradicator returned after visiting various stars. Amora has displayed remarkable abilities that were previously unknown to her. She has developed a certain level of control over nature. She possesses the ability to transform into various animals and communicate with them, whether she is in animal form or not. Additionally, she has the power to manipulate wood, water, earth, and to a lesser extent, fire. Based on Hera's account, it appears that she has acquired the domain of nature as part of her divine abilities. However, she will need to be patient as it may take a few months for her powers to fully manifest due to the power drain in Asgard. She is fortunate to have acquired such influential domains. What are some awe-inspiring wonders of nature that leave most people in awe? Once she acquires her complete domains, she will possess the ability to manipulate gravity, black holes, suns, and all aspects of nature. This really sparked my imagination. What about when we reach my previous world, the elemental nations? Can she quickly master Sage Mode? Can she continue to advance in her career and achieve even greater levels of success? Frankly, I am considering introducing her to the DxD verse so she can gain insights into their interpretation of senjutsu and other related aspects. Her other area of expertise is magic, which is not surprising. Her immense power has grown significantly, to the point where she can now rival certain low-level dimension lords in terms of raw magical strength. She should also wait for it to stabilize in order to fully harness its potential. Possibly enough to compete with. Currently, I am in a highly secure location within a separate dimension, overseeing Zod's experiments on various forms of solar radiation collected by the Eradicator. Meanwhile, I am patiently awaiting Thor's return to Asgard. "It appears that my powers are significantly diminished," remarked Zod, descending towards me following the destruction of several targets in a brief flight. "Yes, it's impressive that they have become permanent. However, I did mention that it has its minor drawbacks," I informed him, observing his heavy breathing and perspiration. "Rao will face the consequences for his actions against our race," stated Zod with fiery determination, his eyes burning with anger as he knelt down on his knees and hands, while I helped him to his feet. I placed him in one of the chairs beside me and provided him with a water bottle and a towel to freshen up. "So what is the final decision exactly?" Zod was questioned. "Well, besides highlighting the extent to which Rao or the Guardians, perhaps both, mistreated Kryptonians," I informed him. "The energy from neutron stars is currently considered highly promising, as we have yet to fully explore the potential of this energy source, as well as the relatively uncommon protostar energy," I informed him. "Alright, so neutron stars possess the remarkable ability to energize us, akin to an orange star, with the added advantage of the effects being long-lasting even after the energy has been depleted," I remarked as I reviewed the meticulous notes I had taken, elucidating to Zod the alterations that had occurred in his biology. I ensured that none of it was directed towards me as I genuinely desired to observe its effects on Kryptonian physiology. "I have a new theory based on this result," I continued, "as the energy that you absorbed seems to have altered your body, granting you these powers. It appears that when there is no energy stored in your cells, your body utilizes whatever resources it can find. It's clear that you're feeling fatigued and noticing some remarkable changes in your body," I explained, pointing out these differences. He nodded in agreement, demonstrating his understanding of the situation. His powers have become permanent, and it seems that exposure to the energy from a yellow star will make him even stronger than before. His body underwent a transformation, granting him powers as if he had possessed them all along. Even at this moment, despite being bombarded by intense red sunlight radiation, he continues to possess his abilities. He possesses the ability to see at microscopic levels, but his most notable power is his heat vision. It causes discomfort to his eyes and depletes his energy quickly. His breath-related abilities are generally satisfactory. If anything is said, it is possibly at the level of a Kryptonian from the Young Justice Universe Season 1. It's quite impressive considering this is his new baseline power now. Indeed, the energy emitted by a neutron star greatly enhances the abilities of Kryptonians in their natural state. We should go out and observe the impact of a main sequence yellow star on your newfound abilities, I informed him. Together, we exited the fortress and made our way towards Mercury, where I could witness the extent of his increased power. He collides head-on with Mercury, and upon rising, he starts expelling dirt and rocks from his mouth. It appears that with an increase in power, there is a significant loss of control, Zod remarked, his eyes glowing a fiery red-orange and his face contorted in a scowl. It is evident that he is struggling to maintain his composure and prevent his senses from becoming chaotic. "Let's start," he says after a brief pause, assuming a fighting stance. I mirror his movements as we engage in a battle that combines both Torquasm Rao and Torquasm Vo techniques. Our fight encompasses both mental and physical challenges. We conclude our sparring session after a few hours of intense practice together. I didn't even have to exert much effort against him, it was a breeze. His power surge far surpassed that of his fellow Kryptonians. Before acquiring the Light Force and Dark Force, along with the perfect Sentry Serum, he would have compelled me to exert myself. Considering my current level of experience, he lacks the expertise and skill of a true martial artist. It's worth noting that he has become one of the most powerful entities in the Marvel Universe. Bringing an unconscious Zod back to Earth as I contemplate the potential of harnessing energy from distant stars. Neutron stars have the remarkable ability to enhance the powers of a Kryptonian, making them permanently stronger, comparable to the effects of an orange star, or perhaps slightly less. It's a bit confusing, but I'm relieved that it's finally making sense. I will need to determine whether gold kryptonite has the ability to remove their powers at a later time. Imagine I possess a power level of 200, harnessing energy from the NS, a neutron star. It appears to be a significant advantage to absorb sufficient NS energy to raise it to 400. Nevertheless, there appears to be a limit to the potential effectiveness of this approach. Based on my calculations, its effectiveness will diminish significantly once I reach a power level of 200,000 in base form. However, reaching this milestone will require a considerable amount of time. I am uncertain about how it will respond to my adaptation. N.A. The power level thing is just an example since I am not utilizing the power level system. As I observe Earth, the Bifrost's light becomes visible, yet it brings no transportation, instead posing a threat to the planet's destruction. I open a portal to the fortress and send Zod inside. Then, I head towards the location where the Bifrost is impacting the Earth. Fortunately, it appears that Gia is lending a hand by creating a barrier. Although it is rapidly deteriorating, it grants me a brief moment to identify the source of the blast and assist in fortifying Gaia's defense. After a short while, I witness Asgard retracing the Bifrost blast and witnessing its intensified release of energy. I effortlessly overcome the barrier I created and swiftly make my way to Asgard, where I successfully shatter the Bifrost. Fortunately, it appears to be more reminiscent of the movies. Ensuring the safety of the surrounding area, I swiftly redirect the impending explosion into the mirror dimension. I turn my gaze towards Asgard, only to find it appearing blurry. Determined to see more clearly, I concentrate my focus and peer into the depths within. What I witness leaves me utterly astonished, a sensation I haven't experienced in quite some time. Asgardians are being forcefully restrained and treated as mere possessions, subjected to the control of frost giants who tower over them in size, reminiscent of their portrayal in the AEMH series. N.A. AEMH refers to the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes television series. It appears to be winter in Asgard, with a chilling sight of snow mixed with blood. I couldn't help but wonder why Loki appeared so small. Curiosity led me to search for him, and I soon discovered him in the throne room. However, what I witnessed there filled me with horror, a grim scene of bodies strewn about, with Heimdall's head impaled on Loki's sword, its eyes eerily glowing. I noticed the sound of distressed voices and swiftly rushed to their aid, ensuring their safety. There is a large group of creatures surrounding them, including a yellow monster with red on its hands, legs, and head. Mangog, they were not imposing themselves on them. They were subjecting them to extreme suffering. I observed that a woman was being subjected to a gruesome act. With great skill and precision, I swiftly infiltrated the thoughts of every being in Asgard, swiftly neutralizing them one by one. Among them was Mangog, who met his demise at the hands of my formidable sword. I efficiently relocated the entire population of Asgard, ensuring their safety by casting a sleep-inducing spell. I approached the palace, ready to confront Loki. Within moments, I find myself just a few feet away from him. He glances in my direction, and I notice the faint glow of neon blue veins coursing beneath his skin, which appears to be exceptionally dry and flaking. "Ah, the god of Midgard has finally arrived," he said with a mocking tone and a hint of bitterness in his eyes. Is that his belief? I assured him, devoid of any emotion, that compared to the genuine article, I am insignificant, not even worthy of being mentioned. "This is me being generous," I stated as Loki's skin continued to crack. "You possess a great deal of potential, yet it remains untapped." "Look at me," he said as he stood up. The king of Asgard, the new ruler of all realms, except heaven, confidently approached me. With a commanding presence, he summoned Mjolnir to his right hand, causing it to crash several floors below us. His right hand emitted a golden glow, and the scepter appeared in his grasp. "You lack the necessary competence to handle the power you possess. It would be more advantageous if I were in control," he says, clearly exasperated. "May I ask who you are?" I inquired with a quizzical expression, prompting a smug grin from him. "Certainly, I am more than capable. However, for the time being, I will content myself with making you my servant," he declares, raising the scepter arrogantly towards my chest. Without hesitation, I swiftly spin around and seize the scepter from his grasp, dispelling the illusion. In a display of strength, I effortlessly tear off both of his arms, causing Mjolnir to plummet to the ground. "Your illusions are quite impressive," I remarked, noting that the lack of a heartbeat and the visible absence of a skeleton gave them away. It is clear that his mastery over illusions should not be underestimated. In certain versions, his illusions are so convincing that they cannot be attacked. He is propelled backwards as a surge of vibrant energy emanates from his severed limbs, seizing hold of Mjolnir and the scepter with two ethereal hands materializing in the process. "Really," I informed him. I swiftly approach him, seize the scepter, and promptly dispatch it to the zone. I have acquired the Mind Stone. I calmly decelerate as he attempts to strike me with Mjolnir, only to fall short. I allow him to land a single blow, purely out of pity for its feeble impact on me. With great skill, he raises the hammer and unleashes a powerful lightning blast. Utilizing my expertise, I swiftly redirect the blast into the vast expanse of space, preventing it from reaching the palace. He confidently brings the hammer to his side as Gungnir comes flying into the room. With a firm grasp, he hurls it towards me. I allowed it to impact me. A powerful explosion reverberates through the air, followed by a resounding breaking noise. Gungnir, the legendary weapon of Asgard, shatters into multiple pieces. I observe the scattered fragments on the ground as a light blue Mjolnir swiftly approaches my face, only to rebound and create several cracks upon impact. Loki simply collapses to the ground, his expression frozen in disbelief, while his skin continues to fracture further. He sheds tears while striking the ground with his fists. It's unjust, considering all my accomplishments. How can you possess such immense power? He starts to throw a fit. This Loki is the one from the comics, the one who killed his younger, happier self because he refused to change his ways. He is seen as irredeemable. I dismiss those thoughts promptly as I perceive that he is attempting to mimic Cell's explosive self-destruction. I confidently unsheath my sword and sever his link with Odin. As soon as the Odin force departs from him, it returns to Odin, who breaks free from his casket. Meanwhile, Loki succumbs to the loss of power, which had been sustaining his life, resulting in severe internal damage. He collapses onto his side, disintegrating into ashes. Odin stands up, his gaze filled with intense animosity as he gazes upon Loki's ashes. He pays no attention to me, instead channeling his rage into a powerful blast aimed at the spot where Loki once stood. He glances in my direction as time seems to come to a standstill, and the world around us fades into muted hues as three figures materialize atop the throne room. Alright, what do you all want? I will be arriving home later than usual tonight. I happen to overhear my girlfriends discussing their plans to wear some new lingerie that I have yet to see. I hope whatever they have in store is worth the anticipation, I expressed, feeling a mix of annoyance and excitement. They looked at me with disbelief as I effortlessly restored the flow of time using my unique abilities. I was pleasantly surprised to discover additional dimensions to my manipulation abilities. Many of them are mostly separate from each other. We would like to propose a business arrangement, expressed the Vishanti with a sense of urgency as time almost returned to its usual pace. What is the reason for wanting to make a deal with me? Did all three of you attempt to exert control over me as well? I inquired with them. We understand, but the problem is escalating, and the living tribunal continues to strip Protégé of his power, even after his failed attempt to copy it, they mentioned, which prompted me to ponder over it. Protégé possesses the ability to replicate the powers of others, granting them an array of incredible abilities. The only possible explanation for its failure is if the Lord of Chaos made TLT immune to power copying. What seems to be the problem? I inquired with them, which seemed to have a calming effect on their demeanor. There seems to be a problem with the universe known as 616, after they said that, I let out an exasperated sigh as they continued. The individuals known as mutants are repeatedly defying the laws of life and death, causing imminent collapse in the multiversal realms of both the Phoenix and Lady Death. Despite the urgency, the Sorcerer Supreme has chosen not to intervene. They explained that the mutants were on the verge of causing a catastrophic event across multiple universes. The use of Seethan's power by the mutants had created an imbalance due to the unpredictable nature of chaos energy. Unfortunately, there was little that Seethan could do to intervene, as Wanda Maximoff possessed her own source of chaos energy. As a result, they had decided to create a new type of Sorcerer Supreme to oversee the entire multiverse. However, this would only be a temporary position. They had approached you to ask for your assistance in this matter. I will gladly go in return. I requested the freedom to traverse the multiverse, and they promptly agreed to my request. Alright, lead the way, but I'll handle those individuals in my own manner. Rest assured, I won't be too harsh on them, I mentioned before giving it further consideration. Perhaps I will demonstrate the importance of humility, I murmured to myself, fully aware of the capabilities granted by the Speed Force. I anticipate returning before dinner and feeling eager to address their actions. I have no objections to making this agreement with them, as it grants me the freedom to travel to any universe in Marvel without concerns about disrupting the multiversal barriers or angering other dimension lords to the point of causing destruction. Naruto's perspective. Coming to 616 universes was an incredibly wise decision. If Vishanti dare to betray me, they are well aware that I will unleash my fury across the multiverse. I will revisit the moment when I eliminated Loki to ensure everything remains in perfect order. I have also verified a few things. One thing I noticed is that Kamar Taj and the Three Sanctums left a lasting impression on me. There is a somewhat feeble natural barrier that provides a partial safeguard for this universe against other dimensions, although its effectiveness is minimal. The Sanctums back home are much more dependable. Another interesting observation is that comic book timelines can be quite peculiar. For instance, in San Francisco, the Extremis 3.0 is being unveiled as a $100 app. Emma 616 announced that Sabretooth would be evaluated exclusively by mutants. Loki has taken away Doctor Strange's title. Additionally, the Ancient One is currently unavailable, as is my racer. They both engaged in a battle against Jim Jaspers and Clyde Wincham simultaneously. Yeah, at that point, I decided to give my Jackal, Black Racer a much-needed break. The injured Ancient One confided in me, revealing their ability to escape or resurrect themselves if they were seen or heard by others. Their thoughts remained elusive to me. In addition, they received assistance from a robot. I will keep my distance from those two individuals until I far exceed them in terms of power. Alright, it's time to show them what I'm capable of, I muttered to myself. I carefully guided Emma 616 to create a portal to Krakoa, ensuring that everyone important was present. With ease, I teleported inside and effortlessly broke through their containment. I noticed Storm's gaze fixed on me as she unleashes a lightning bolt in my direction. Swiftly, I counter with a forceful blast of my own, overpowering her attack. Did you honestly think there would be no repercussions for tampering with matters of life and death? I exclaimed, my voice filled with frustration. I could sense numerous entities attempting to invade my thoughts, but I swiftly erected a mental barrier, preventing anyone or anything from detecting my presence telepathically. I effortlessly transformed the flying pieces of metal into water and then solidified them into ice, swiftly dispatching the resurrected individuals before any trace of soul sickness could take hold. We are the new gods of Earth and you shall be held accountable for your transgressions, exclaimed Magneto 616 as a barrage of long-range attacks came at me from every mutant. I allowed them to land and smoke inexplicably materialized. You seem to have a very high opinion of yourselves, which I find quite amusing. I informed them using my telepathic abilities, causing even Magneto to recoil as I penetrated his helmet. Impossible, he murmured as I effortlessly descended to the ground. Listen up, your disregard for reality will not go unpunished, I said with a mocking tone as I effortlessly caused every mutant to lose consciousness and eliminated anyone who was revived. I have received approval from the Vishanti to eliminate them before they succumb to spiritual distress. Wolverine 616 made an appearance as he attempted to slice through my armor. It was quite amusing, but I managed to keep a straight face. I expertly encased him in adamantium and created a secure containment for him. He has the ability to recover from any ailment, but he still requires oxygen. I effortlessly transformed Magneto's metal encasement into water and then ice, swiftly dispatching them to others. You, being someone with experience in facing oppression, seem to have allowed your pettiness to cloud your judgment. Consider the thoughts of your parents, particularly your mother, in light of the lives you have taken, I conveyed to him, which appeared to further aggravate him. You dare, he starts before coughing, as if I just scared him half to death. You are not gods, Eric, I informed him before his passing, utilizing my expertise to suppress the X gene in his body, heal him, and induce a profound slumber. Gene manipulation is highly effective. May I inquire about your identity? Inquires Professor X, dressed in a sleek blue suit and sporting a helmet adorned with a prominent blue X. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters now is the consequence of your arrogance, Charles, I inform him before swiftly moving behind and gently tapping him on the back, causing a minor injury. I then utilize my unique ability to emit heat from my eyes, ensuring a lasting effect on his spine. However, regrettably, my attempt at healing him is not successful. Leave him alone, a voice I recognized screamed, while a powerful telekinetic force attempted to dislodge the professor from under my foot as I maintained my hold on him. I shifted my gaze towards Jean 616 and to be honest, she doesn't really impress me. Personally, I still prefer my Jean over this particular iteration of her. This individual demonstrates a lack of professionalism in their approach, showing carelessness and a lack of refinement in their use of power. They continuously attempt to blast me or invade my mind, which is quite frustrating. This one lacks the power of the Phoenix Force. You lack strength, plain and simple. Maybe if you had proper training and possessed the Phoenix Force, you might actually compel me to exert some effort, I informed her as I swiftly advanced towards her, employing pressure points and temporarily suppressing her X gene for a brief period. I swiftly open a portal and efficiently send her through, followed by effortlessly incapacitating every other mutant in mere seconds. I promptly establish a connection with Krakoa, compelling it to become dormant, and swiftly subdue Storm, who was poised to launch an attack against me. I efficiently remove all mutants from Krakoa and render them unconscious. In the midst of my task, I am unexpectedly struck by Cyclops' powerful beam. Swiftly adapting, I absorb his blast and swiftly incapacitate him. Once everyone is asleep, I discreetly deploy nanobots to gather their X-gene data. As they complete their task, I swiftly direct a surge of energy towards Krakoa, safely placing it in the zone without causing any harm. I sense a significant amount of psychic energy coming my way, seemingly boundless. Close to, I glance in the direction Rachel Summers is widely regarded as an exceptional host for the Phoenix. Among them are Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Psylocke, and the Kukos, who are Emma's clones, daughters. It should be noted that the Phoenix Force is widely recognized as the most powerful psychic entity in the Marvel multiverse, at least for the time being. My Jean possesses an extraordinary level of psychic power that can rival any other. Thanks to our training, she has reached a level where her sheer raw power can rival that of an inexperienced Dark Phoenix. I confidently face a blast of fire without any effect, and then I sense her attempt to dismantle me at the molecular level, which I effortlessly deflect, causing me to momentarily recoil in surprise. I am surrounded by a professional black and white lighting setup. I approach her and swiftly unsheath my sword, skillfully separating her from the Phoenix in a rather messy manner. This is the first time I have ever separated two beings, especially one as powerful as the Phoenix Force. Rachel tumbles to the ground as I swiftly neutralize her X-gene, all while my attention remains fixed on containing the formidable Phoenix Force within a small creation of my own making. A seal crafted with the utmost expertise, incorporating every ounce of my magical knowledge. The All Seal, simple yet accurate. This seal incorporates elements from various popular magic systems, including those found in Marvel, DxD, Asgardian, Marvel version, and my knowledge of DC. It has the capability to prevent anyone from detecting its presence or the entity within. I hold a cube in my hand, its color a soft shade of blue. Anyone with comparable supervision would likely recognize the minuscule size of each magic circle. Every single one possesses the immense capability to effortlessly subdue celestial entities, yet I have no inclination towards acquiring the Phoenix or harnessing its formidable power. I have already exceeded it some time ago. I made some modifications to the seal in order to ensure that the Phoenix will be released in approximately 1 million years from now and transported to a random planet within our universe. I ensure that each individual is unconscious before deploying nanobots to collect samples of their X genes. I create a protective layer and manipulate time within a bubble to create a significant time difference, ensuring that anyone attempting to exploit their vulnerable state is thwarted. Now the true purpose of my visit, I mutter to myself, filled with anticipation for this opportunity that I had been longing for and even pleading to the universe, will finally come to fruition. It's been quite some time since I've experienced genuine entertainment or faced a real challenge. I concentrate and then I am able to hear them. Children using profanity on their Xbox and PlayStation, gamers becoming furious and damaging their game systems or keyboards. I head towards a GameStop, despite it not being the top-tier store. I'll need to exert every ounce of self-control to contain my excitement. Efficiency is maximized as I harness time to propel myself forward. I apprehend a couple of criminals and confiscate their ill-gotten funds for the greater good. I park my car after reading some of their memories to better understand the language. I summon a standard 2016 Camaro after donning suitable attire. I step into the car and release a breath filled with anticipation. Shortly, I will reach my destination. I admire the wallet filled with money. I may have gotten a little carried away, I admitted, examining the overflowing wallet brimming with a substantial amount of cash. I approach a mob boss and acquire his debit card containing illicit accounts. Upon entering the store, I quickly scan the aisles and am overcome with a wave of emotion as I spot familiar games on the shelves. I restrain myself and promptly make my way to the cashier to purchase the consoles I desire. As he goes to the back to fetch the new consoles, I take the opportunity to gather a wide selection of games, including ones I've played before and others that are new to me. Shortly, I have a collection of several dozen games all ready to go and the cashier returns with the consoles I desired. It typically takes me around 15 minutes to receive the games and complete the payment process, ensuring that the camera experiences a glitch and does not record during my time here. That will be $8,749, says the cashier, slightly concerned that I might not pay. However, I promptly retrieve my new debit card and settle the payment in full. I make multiple trips to my car, acting in a way that avoids suspicion. I find a discreet location and efficiently open a portal to the zone, smoothly driving the car through as I seamlessly phase out of it. Now, onto the connection between worlds, I say with enthusiasm. I proceed to set up multiple internet connections around the world, meticulously installing universal Wi-Fi routers for my personal use. This allows me to enjoy seamless multiplayer gaming and effortlessly download updates. Fortunately, this universe operates on the same schedule as mine, just in a different year. After a few minutes, I have completed all tasks related to my hobbies. I gaze up at Stark's residence perched above Alcatraz. This is going to be enjoyable, I think to myself as I fly over to it. Chapter 115. Never Meet Your Heroes. Naruto Pav. Well, this is certainly an unexpected turn of events, I remark, observing Tony indulging in his activities without any sense of guilt or restraint. I have already obtained what I came here for. I examine the USB drive containing Tony's past memories, undisturbed by the axis wave. I must express my disappointment with this version. I state while utilizing a kryptonian data crystal to swiftly program its energy with my Speed Force energy, thereby transforming it into a supercomputer. Given its efficient downloading speed, it's no wonder that it takes just under 5 seconds to download everything from the drive. I interrupted Tony by isolating him from everything and started examining every armor he has ever created, searching for anything of value that I can find. I am committing it all to memory for personal use. Within seconds, I efficiently convert thoughts into data, providing Tony with a clear explanation of what is happening with his physical body. So, am I considered unprofessional now? He inquires. No, it's just your previous personality, but amplified, I replied, conjuring an enhanced iteration of Vision's appearance from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Listen, I am here to assist in restoring order to your world and dealing with an individual who may be lacking maturity despite their high intelligence and ample free time. They may provoke me to react in a way that could be harmful to your physical self or result in their own mental incapacitation. Not that he wouldn't actually deserve it, I informed him as I carefully inserted the crystal into the forehead of this new temporary body. He bears a striking resemblance to MCU Vision, save for the crystal's light blue hue. After a few seconds, the body begins to float up, no longer supported by my telekinesis. I ensured that he did not become like one of my eradicators infused with kryptonian DNA. This body is made of vibranium and isolated Antarctic vibranium blades, which serve as weapons against his actual body. He possesses the ability to phase, similar to the real Vision. However, the MCU version of Vision, with his vibranium body and the Mind Stone, is significantly stronger than his comic book counterpart. What do you mean by restoring order to the world? He inquires as I commence my explanation. Alright, please be patient as I explain the recent events. After joining forces with Charles Xavier, Black Bolt, Reed Richards, Namor, and Stephen Strange, we formed a team known as the Illuminati. Our purpose was to make difficult decisions that could potentially have negative consequences for the world, I started to explain. Together, you all made the decision to launch the Hulk into space, hoping to find a peaceful planet for him to live on. Unfortunately, a random wormhole appeared, diverting him to a planet where the inhabitants were capable of harming him. He was forced to fight in a gladiatorial arena and eventually became the king of that planet. During his time there, he fell in love and had a child. Tragically, both his partner and unborn child were killed when they visited the ship you had sent him on, which exploded while being studied by his people, I explained, much to his horrified expression. Consumed by anger and hatred, he descended upon Earth with a vengeful intent to wage war against all of you. Little did he know, he had been deceived by someone he once considered trustworthy in his newfound home. As time passed, your actions were exposed to the world, leading him to put you and the other members of the Illuminati on trial, summoning witnesses from his own planet. Civilians, he said, cutting me off as he gracefully descended to the ground. Indeed, once they have given their testimonies, the the Hulk proclaims that the city of New York will be evacuated and subsequently destroyed. However, before this can occur, Sentry arrives and a fierce battle ensues between the two, with no holds barred. Eventually, they both revert back to their normal human forms, I informed him, proceeding to transmit the information directly into his newly acquired knowledge. After a few minutes, he was amazed by everything the real him accomplished alongside his fellow heroes. This can't be accurate, why would they? I interrupted him. Your lack of professionalism and disregard for the consequences of your actions is what has had a negative impact on society, I informed him, presenting undeniable evidence of humans engaging in the cruel and unethical practices of hunting and killing mutants for mere entertainment. Conducting experiments on children who were sold to them by parents driven by financial motives. Why did they allow things to escalate to this point? He asked me once more. You already know, but I will say it, I started. You are human, I replied. What does that even mean? He inquired, seeking clarification. I let out a sigh. Ordinary individuals often perceive themselves as unique and significant in the grand scheme of things. However, the truth is that they, much like myself, are insignificant. They tend to develop a sense of envy and resentment when they encounter someone with genuine power or superiority. While some may view me as godlike, I am fully aware of my insignificance in the vastness of creation. No matter what I do, it will never be enough to make a lasting impact. Unfortunately, many humans have yet to grasp this lesson and continue to cling to the belief that they are the center of the universe, I explained to him as he pondered my words. Tony, throughout existence, there exist certain races that consciously opt for malevolence. Humans are among those who often make that choice, embracing evil despite the consequences they face. Consider individuals in positions of authority, such as General Ross, who has caused numerous casualties in his pursuit of weaponizing the Hulk. Similarly, Maria Hill assumes the roles of judge, jury, and executioner. Certainly, I have dealt with individuals in a manner that ensures their pain is minimized, particularly those who have warranted such action. However, I strongly disapprove of conducting experiments on individuals and their families, especially when it involves the younger members. Carol Danvers has employed the abilities of an inhuman named Ulysses Kane to apprehend individuals prior to them committing a crime. Although his powers provide glimpses into potential futures, they are not absolute. Carol, however, has taken this approach to an extreme level. She even incarcerated a baby for stealing food from a stand due to being homeless. If significant changes are not made in my absence, Tony, I will return to pass judgment, I informed him, while presenting him with videos and memories of my own, pertaining to his Earth 199,999 MCU counterpart. I depict the protagonist's predicament of being confined within the cave alongside Yinsen, gradually forming a bond as I had glimpsed his recollections in my realm. Yinsen made the ultimate sacrifice, giving his life so that he could continue living, all while imparting the valuable lesson of not squandering one's life. He opposes Obadiah and Vanko and plays a crucial role in the formation of the Avengers. Then, I proceed to present him with the remaining Marvel Cinematic Universe films to the best of my ability. I am aware of my own hypocrisy. From the perspective of Tony Stark in Earth 616, what could have possibly caused such a series of unfortunate events? Engaging in such actions while betraying close relationships and individuals we held dear. Observing my previous work with Carol, sharing intimate moments online after betraying her trust. Initiating a conflict among superheroes engaging in intense battles while Peter is involved in a romantic relationship with Mary Jane. Sharing many agreements with Hill. Furthermore, it is quite surprising that Sue engaged in a romantic encounter with Namor. The fact that Susan Storm chose to be intimate with an individual whom I personally acknowledge as being more unpleasant than myself is truly astonishing. Reflecting on my previous professional endeavors, we have a lot to be accountable for. However, I must prioritize cleaning the house first. As I observed the house on Alcatraz, Naruto's perspective, I observe the actions of Peter Parker, a prominent figure in this world, as he contemplates taking his own life. Upon a swift examination of his thoughts, the contents I discovered were truly distressing. The experiences this Peter endured are incredibly frustrating and infuriating. Peter was strongly disliked by the majority of the superhero community as a result of Doc Ock's actions. Miles Morales met a tragic end at the hands of his adversaries following a violent altercation with Captain Marvel during her attempt to apprehend him. He passed away while protecting a now helpless Peter Parker, who had lost his abilities and, more importantly, his link to the web of life. there is a significant presence of totems due to their inherent connection to the web. The increasing population on Earth directly correlates with the number of totems. The manifestation of a totem's powers can be influenced by various triggers. In this case, it appears that the spider bite he received played a significant role. Interestingly, it seems that many individuals on his father's side of the family share a strong connection with the web. He lost his abilities because of a Mephisto-possessed Norman Osborn, who severely damaged his connection to the web, resulting in the loss of his powers. Miles sacrificed his life defending him against his formidable adversaries, leaving Rio, his mother, to hold Peter responsible. Mary Jane made choices that allowed her to advance professionally and eventually formed a personal relationship with Tony Stark. Felicia 616 met a tragic end when Fisk ruthlessly threw her into a grinder. His aunt sold his identity to Hydra in exchange for money, a shocking act of betrayal. Jessica Drew is currently under the care of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a mental hospital due to a tragic incident caused by Tony's error, resulting in the loss of her twins. Cindy Moon is currently in a drug-induced coma following her capture by Skrulls, who appear to be plotting another secret invasion. His clones met their demise at the hands of the inheritors. He was not reconnected to the internet by Julia, who has a negative perspective and blames him for everything that goes wrong. He discovered that his parents entrusted him to his uncle and aunt, due to their preference for a daughter over a son. There are no covert operations or life-threatening situations involved. Instead, they simply staged their deaths to leave him behind. Flash Thompson is currently in space alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy. Unfortunately, the team recently experienced a tragic loss when Gamora fell victim to the consequences of Captain Marvel's outburst. He also lost Parker Industries due to someone who was being paid to ensure its financial downfall before Tony purchased it and deceived Peter out of his own patents, causing him financial hardship. Once more, "Oh, Peter," I exclaimed as I observed Peter, who had skillfully tied his wrists and was almost finished suspending himself at an incredible speed. I efficiently lulled him into slumber and gently placed him on the improvised bed crafted from cardboard in a narrow alleyway. In that moment, I made a choice that would have far-reaching consequences across the multiverse. I treated his injuries and swiftly escorted him to the zone for his safety while I made my way to Symkaria. I am going to meet Sylvia Sablinova as she appears to be deeply invested in this world's Peter, showing a level of care and affection that is truly remarkable. However, due to her current circumstances, she is unable to directly express her feelings towards him. She is also one of the few who knew that Peter wasn't the superior Spider-Man. Shortly, I will be at Silver Sable's headquarters. I disregard the alarm and instantly appear right in front of her. As bullets pelted my face, I skillfully intercepted them before they could ricochet elsewhere. However, I paused, utilizing this opportunity to hone my expertise in probability manipulation. With precise control, not a single bullet managed to make contact with her, let alone leave a scratch. "Who are you?" she inquires, but I choose to disregard her as I effortlessly conjure a bed and gently place Peter upon it, bringing him back from the zone. She reacts with surprise before she rises unsteadily to her feet, and upon examination, I observe that she is afflicted with lung cancer. She approaches Peter and lies down beside him, gently resting his head on her lap. She swiftly leans over and firmly grasps a gun that emerges from the wall, pointing it directly at me. "What did you do to him?" she demands in a stern and intense tone, her hand holding the gun trembling with anger. I intervened just in time to prevent a tragic incident, I inform her, causing her to release the weapon and bring it away from her mouth. "You are lying," I interrupt her, countering with a presentation of Peter's experiences and his struggle with suicidal thoughts. After a short while, she found herself at ease, delicately and affectionately running her slender fingers through Peter's hair, tears streaming down her face. "Could you please bring a bowl of water?" she requested after a brief pause, effortlessly conjuring it. With a nod, she proceeded to meticulously clean the blood from Peter's wrists. "I brought him to you because, to be frank, you are essentially his last remaining support," I informed her while contemplating a potential exclusive deal I am considering. "I have the ability to treat your cancer and, if you agree, I can bring you to my universe. Peter will also come with us, as I believe he deserves better than this world." Regardless of any objections, I am determined to bring him along, considering the hardships he has already endured, I informed her as she started to speak. "Why are you assisting him or me? Typically, others would expect something in exchange," she inquires of me. "I understand the current state of the world and strongly believe that Peter's untimely death is undeserved. He has made significant contributions, I explained to her. I agree. I have lost everything as my country has been divided and taken over by others. With no remaining family, I am willing to take this opportunity to be with the person I love. However, I would appreciate it if you could provide an explanation of your identity, she informs me. In response, I disclose that I am a highly skilled sorcerer with expertise in multiple universes, but I refrain from mentioning that the title I hold is devoid of substance. Aside from my extraterrestrial origins and my existence in a parallel universe. Is there someone named Peter in your world? She inquires after a few minutes, to which I respond with a playful smile. Hold it right there, my world's Peter is still in high school, you older woman, to which she just blushes and looks down at Peter with a small smile. I no longer possess the ability to anticipate her thoughts, so I promptly address her ailment and witness an immediate improvement in her breathing. Additionally, I provide her with a selection of supplements that I personally formulated, as a precautionary measure for any unforeseen circumstances involving the girls. So, when are we departing? She inquires. Well, it will only take a few minutes for you, but I still have some tasks to complete in this universe. I inform her as I efficiently put her to sleep and transport both her and Peter to the zone, all while I get ready to gather valuable resources from this world. Naruto's perspective. I just acquired both Peter and Silver Sable 616 in a matter of seconds. Given my extensive reach and influence, I have the privilege of delving into the thoughts of individuals worldwide. Some individuals may possess a supposed safeguard against mind reading, but I effortlessly surpass that with little difficulty. Nick Fury seems to possess an enhanced iteration of the Infinity Formula, a serum that effectively decelerates the aging process in humans to a remarkable extent of 1/50th when administered through a monthly injection. Additionally, it provides a minor healing factor to the individual. It's a decent recovery time for a broken bone, allowing a person to heal in a minimum of 2 weeks. From the perspective of Nathaniel Essex 616, this is an exceptional source of valuable information. He has made a remarkable discovery in the X gene that impresses me greatly. He has achieved a high level of skill in manipulating and altering it, comparable to Omega's immense power. He has developed a serum that can bestow energy manipulation abilities at the highest level. What he is doing is truly impressive, even to someone like me. He acquired a distinctive blank X gene that holds the potential for me to achieve the ability to inhabit multiple bodies with a single consciousness. Using a small amount of blood, it is possible to alter the genetic code of various materials, such as organs and blood, to create a new body for individuals with the X gene. This process maintains the integrity of the original X gene and establishes a connection with the mind of their previous body. He has extensively utilized this to an extreme degree on multiple levels, leaving me wondering why he hasn't made significant progress with it. What I discovered was an individual who has surpassed the boundaries of the Marvel multiverse entirely. He has assembled a remarkable collection of X genes from a wide range of powerful mutants, including Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Juggernaut, Magneto, Polaris, Wolverine, Storm, Vulcan, Cable, Sabretooth, Psylocke, Colossus, Iceman, Havoc, Amor, Caliban, Dakin, Elixir, Arcadia, Aurora, Cyber, Jamie Braddock, and many others. And the list goes on. The new process utilizing the OpX gene enhances the addition, magnifying its effects. By combining a clone body of Emma Frost and Psylocke, their powers were enhanced and amplified threefold through a rewrite. He is still continuing his work, demonstrating his dedication to this process. He is being extremely cautious with this new breakthrough, but luckily, he discovered that there is a limit to the amount of power their bodies can handle. It appears that he is approaching that limit after incorporating Jamie's Braddock X gene, which initially had beta-level reality manipulation abilities but eventually progressed to full-blown omega-level reality manipulation. There appears to be a similar occurrence here that is being influenced by a minor detail. It seems that Jamie Braddock possesses a lineage that is reminiscent of the mighty Asgardians. Well, more like genes, as I recall their appearance from my time in Asgard, where I provided professional healing to many of them. Their genetic information remains vivid in my memory. This is significant. This phenomenon occurs when an Asgardian acquires an X gene. Over time, their powers have the potential to grow stronger, thanks to their unique biology. Unlike Jamie's X gene, which also enables this enhancement, the Asgardian's X gene and Jamie's X gene work together in synergy. Unfortunately, his progress has been hindered by the lengthy rewriting process. Each iteration requires a minimum of 2 months and can take up to a full year to complete when introducing a new type of X gene. Before crossing paths with those individuals, I remarked, examining the data revealing S.H.I.E.L.D's failure to fulfill their tax obligations under Mariah Hill's leadership. I also have sufficient information about Captain Marvel, and it's surprising that she isn't more widely disliked. She cleverly deceived Reed and Susan Richards by presenting them with a counterfeit clone of Franklin Richards, all while overseeing a group of skilled scientists conducting experiments on him. I efficiently rescue him and promptly transport him to the zone. She is responsible for causing Jane Foster's illness by rendering her unconscious and exposing her to a high level of radiation. It seems that she is also exploring the 2 miscarried children of Jessica Drew. At this point, she is extremely difficult to deal with. I am seriously considering bringing Carol from my universe here to witness them fighting each other. Ultimately, I gather sufficient evidence to sway public opinion against her. I also ensured to access the systems of various prominent nations to gather valuable information that could potentially be used. Illegal activities such as human trafficking, drug and weapon trading, and corruption. Why don't I turn this into a global event? I ponder, nodding to myself as I skillfully infiltrate every news network worldwide. This is going to be enjoyable, I said, chuckling to myself as I make some preparations and commence teleporting individuals into a pocket dimension. I must say, I thoroughly enjoy my knack for spatial magic, I remarked as the individuals inside started conversing with each other. Third-person point of view. I made a copy of all his genetic material and promptly utilized my own reality-altering abilities to ensure he never uncovered it. Indeed, altering years' worth of memories proved to be quite a challenge, and navigating through his countermeasures was even more daunting. However, the rewards made all the effort worthwhile. Based on my own calculations and considering the benefits of acquiring this X gene, it seems to be the most favorable option for me at this time. I am confident in my ability to adapt and have several ideas to implement on my own. Transforming a body to resemble mine will require a considerable amount of time, estimated to be around 5,000 years, assuming no additional modifications are made. One of the advantages is that as I adjust, my body will naturally incorporate those changes into my daily routine. After receiving guidance from Tony Stark, I carefully examined his endo-sim armor and identified areas where I could enhance its design. However, upon closer inspection, I realized that my own armor far surpasses its capabilities. However, I can potentially create a similar item for the girls. It's disappointing that this individual continues to utilize palladium for their reactors. One thing I really desired from the Fantastic Four was the portal technology to the negative zone of Reed Richards. From Dr. Doom, the device he used to take the powers of the Beyonders is truly remarkable and stands out as one of the most impressive pieces of technology I have encountered since I was reborn. This thing is incredibly complex, far surpassing the simplicity of the McLuhan ring I created. It's as if a 5-year-old's drawing compared to a masterpiece. Without extracting it from his memories, it would have taken me some time to comprehend. Wakanda has made significant advancements in medical technology, including the development of a healing chamber exclusively used by the king. Considering the current state of Atlantis, it seems like a favor might be to wipe Namor from existence. Atlantis, once a utopia-like kingdom, now lies in near rubble. The residents of this place live in constant fear of their king, who wields an overwhelming amount of power. Any attempts to seek assistance from the surface are met with hostility, and even if they manage to find someone willing to help, Namor responds with brutal and remorseless violence, regardless of the age of his victims. Many women on Atlantis have unfortunately experienced the terrible actions of this individual, as he is involved in a disturbing trade that exploits them as sex slaves. His subordinates are unable to defy him, as his trident possesses complete dominion over almost every aspect of their existence, with the exception of their soul, albeit to a minimal extent. It seems like they are in need of participants for Project World, I thought to myself, contemplating the opportunity. Oh, what the heck, I exclaimed as I swiftly create a duplicate and dispatch it to Atlantis, efficiently gathering everyone there and transporting them to the zone. Now, it's time to address S.H.I.E.L.D., I remarked with satisfaction as I skillfully infiltrated their systems and swiftly obtained the necessary information. Impressive, I must say even Joker would think twice. Multiple bodies descend in heaps while others gently drift to the ground. Curious, what is our purpose for being here? Inquired a seasoned Captain America. Please refrain from looking at me. He was interrupted as they watched 2 Iron Man figures engaged in a fierce battle, with the one in white armor appearing to be at a disadvantage as his suit started to melt. "What is the purpose of my presence?" inquired a woman with fiery red hair and a smudge of lipstick on her chin. "I have no idea, but I am determined to find a solution," said a confident woman with a strong voice. "I don't have any tools or materials to determine our location," stated a man clad in a blue skinsuit, as he stretched his limbs in an attempt to find an exit. "I'm not particularly enthusiastic about being here, but I have a sense that positive things are on the horizon, at least for me." Robert Reynolds of Earth 616 was questioned. Tony Stark's armor shattered into pieces, leaving him vulnerable and overpowered. However, he quickly adapted, utilizing the remnants to fashion a makeshift sword. With swift precision, he unleashed a powerful slash towards his adversary, the other Iron Man. However, it was quite fragile. The other Iron Man removed his helmet swiftly and pressed their foreheads together in a professional manner. Tony let out a cry of agony as his memories were forcefully wiped away and replaced, all in the blink of an eye, when the other Tony appeared to disintegrate, leaving only the suit behind. Everyone observed in surprise as they noticed the presence of two individuals, only to feel relieved when one of them vanished. They then assumed a defensive position, ready for a confrontation. "I require a liver transplant," stated Tony, who has now regained possession of his body. "What just happened?" asked everyone, feeling completely bewildered. "All right, I am ready to proceed." The voice was filled with irritation. Several large stacks of bodies suddenly materialized 6 feet above the ground and crashed down in a jumbled mess, causing immense pain. "All right, so everyone is present and I will be demonstrating the areas where improvements can be made." Upon the conclusion of his speech, the individuals wasted no time in launching a swift assault on the mysterious figure, with the exception of 2 individuals: Robert Reynolds and Tony Stark. After approximately 30 minutes, individuals frustratedly collapsed from exhaustion. "May I ask who you are?" Robert was asked. "As I mentioned earlier, I will demonstrate the extent of your shortcomings and provide assistance to those in need, enabling them to overcome their challenges," stated the authoritative figure, exuding an aura of strength. "Hello everyone, my name is Naruto L, and I am here to address the situation at hand," Naruto stated confidently, as a screen appeared atop the figure while the mutants continued to struggle with their powers. "Regarding the meta-human, or as they prefer to be called, mutants, I have deactivated their X gene, and your powers will be restored once I release all of you. Now, I will start with Spider-Man, and I absolutely won't tolerate any negative comments about him from any of you. I will ensure that you face severe consequences for your actions," the voice demanded with a tone filled with frustration and animosity, yet Naruto's anger intensified as he noticed that some of them seemed skeptical of his words. "I said, am I clear? Answer me, you incompetent fools, before I obliterate your existence and eradicate all life on Earth," demanded Naruto, causing some of them to tremble in fear. "Great, I'm glad we have a clear understanding. Now, as I was saying, I will start with Spider-Man. Given his firm decision to never return to your universe, I cannot permit it under any circumstances." Naruto expressed his disappointment with them, stating that they did not deserve him. As the screen illuminated behind him, it started narrating the tale of a nerdy individual named Peter Parker. A teenager who faced bullying due to their financial circumstances, despite their exceptional intelligence. A teenager who was bitten by a spider in Oscorp. Eventually, they witnessed him exploiting his abilities for personal gain, resulting in the tragic demise of his uncle. Many individuals appeared to have a desire to express themselves, yet they remained silent, possibly due to a strong sense of danger that discouraged any attempts to resist. Despite the intense gaze of an elderly woman fixated on the screen, her eyes filled with animosity, as she contemplates the unfortunate loss of her husband instead of her nephew. As she pondered, Naruto expressed his disappointment by shaking his head and looking at her. A confident and assertive individual with blonde hair appeared to be extremely displeased with Peter, possibly due to his misuse of authority. Naruto's perspective: I am unimpressed with the majority of them, as they seem to overlook the significance of Peter's memories and the challenges he faced. Many individuals lack concern, which ultimately leads to their powerlessness. Only those who demonstrated a greater concern for Peter will remain. I contemplated whether or not to reveal his memories, but it's not as if I am allowing him to return. However, it seems that most individuals here are already familiar with his identity, so it holds little significance. Robert frequently directs his attention towards me, and I have a strong inclination as to the reason behind it. I didn't bring Dr. Doom from Earth 616, that would be incredibly foolish. He is unknowingly under the control of numerous powerful beings from different dimensions. He has experienced numerous setbacks in his career. This individual has made numerous commitments that they are unable to evade or find a way around. It is only a matter of time before their soul becomes fragmented. Indeed, he was able to escape from a few situations, but similar to the Victor in my universe, most of 616 Victor's abilities are limited and he entered into numerous agreements. Tony 616 has regained his body and the temporary body I provided him with is no longer in use. It is evident that he thoroughly enjoyed the experience, and I can empathize with his sentiments. The body I provided him with is based on MCU Vision, known for being one of the most powerful versions of Vision. This is because his body is constructed using vibranium. It likely seemed like he was soaring through the air like a bird, only to be abruptly brought down. If he deviates from the expected behavior, I will simply detach any emotional attachment from those memories as a precautionary measure. I carefully observe the screen, attentively gauging their emotions as I encourage them to maintain eye contact and refrain from speaking too much. I am attentive as we finally reach the crucial moment when he pleads for assistance from the most knowledgeable individuals in the world to save his poisoned aunt, unaware that they would reject him, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, the X-Men, and others whom he believed to be his allies. Eventually, he sought assistance from Latveria, where Doom graciously extended his aid and successfully treated his aunt. Since then, he and Doom have managed to maintain a somewhat amicable relationship. They don't make an effort to engage in combat, as Doom was impressed by Peter and recognizes him as someone who, with enough effort, could reach a level close to 1% of his own. This surprised me as well. I sensed a sense of remorse and regret emanating from the group, although it was overshadowed by their frustration towards seeking assistance from Doom rather than themselves. With expertise, I quickly immersed them in the emotions Peter experienced. As Rio Morales observed Peter guiding Miles in harnessing his newfound abilities, a sense of remorse began to wash over her. Guiding Miles as his older brother, Johnny Storm was deeply frustrated and angered by the way his friend was treated by the superhero community. At long last, we have arrived at the Spider-Verse event. I am only revealing a portion of the information to gauge their reaction and assess their sense of remorse. Many individuals participated, and before we knew it, we were approaching the pinnacle of this occasion as we arrived at the present day. Even I was taken aback by the fact that certain events in 616 were not actually realized. However, upon careful observation of the planet, it becomes evident that the Spider Clone Saga was on the verge of commencing prior to my arrival. I had doubts about the timeline not being in sync with comic book timelines, but it was confirmed. I am confident that some of them will not occur. Considering the circumstances, I would have personally taken care of those individuals if they were still alive. I ensured the elimination of Norman Osborn and the eradication of his soul. That individual had their hands involved in a wide range of global affairs. Here is the reaction that people will mostly see for the most popular arcs Spider-Man has been in. This will consist of a total of 3 chapters. There are 2 more tasks remaining, and they might take longer than usual. I appreciate your patience. I didn't realize I was still in the process of learning the language. Third-person point of view. Naruto and his companions have finally completed their viewing of Spider-Man's journey. He should have perished to spare the rest of us the inconvenience. That was as much as James Jonah Jameson managed to utter before being eradicated by Naruto's sword, with no possibility of return. Now, if anyone has any constructive criticism to share, please do so respectfully. Otherwise, I will address the matter accordingly, stated Naruto with a composed expression. He then nodded towards Robert, who appeared genuinely appreciative of Peter's attempt to find a solution to his void issue. So, did Peter really go through all of that by himself or with his colleagues? He inquired, seeking confirmation, and promptly took a seat in one of the conjured chairs. A solemn expression settled upon his face, accompanied by a noticeable shift in the color of his eyes. Recalling Peter's consistent efforts to assist others, his eyes displayed various hues before returning to their usual state. One of his eyes had a striking golden hue, while the other had a deep crimson shade. "Robert, would you be interested in joining me to learn how to control your power?" inquired Naruto within Robert's mind. "You can instruct me, but hold on a moment, yes?" Robert asked, his voice filled with a mix of confusion and hope. "Indeed, Robert, you might come to recognize your own power distinct from both the Sentry and Void." Naruto quickly addressed Robert as their conversation unfolded in a split second. What was the purpose of gathering everyone here to witness this? Inquired a deactivated Magneto. Because some individuals are tired of dealing with the consequences of your mistakes. This includes interfering with the natural order of things by improperly bringing them back to life. Your actions have greatly increased the risk of these individuals developing soul sickness, a condition that arises when someone is resurrected without their consent, potentially disturbing the peace of their souls. Furthermore, it disrupts the connection between their physical body and their soul, leaving them in a state of limbo where half of their body would have started to decay while the other half remained alive. Considering that most cells naturally die, this would have driven these people to madness, explained Naruto. The reason I shared Peter's story is to highlight his unwavering commitment to doing what's right, even in the face of adversity. It seems that some of you have become overly confident after only a few victories against your opponents. However, this arrogance will come to an end. Whether it's by my actions or someone else's, you will all learn that pride means nothing when it comes to survival. That's why I intend to strip those who have made numerous mistakes and show no signs of changing, starting with Captain Marvel, Naruto declared before being attacked by an individual. She delivered multiple strikes in her binary form, but her face was suddenly grabbed, and Naruto started squeezing it while she relentlessly unleashed a series of attacks that left her hands shattered against his chest. Gradually, her radiance faded as her powers were slowly erased. Then he released her once she had no power. I am well aware of your actions, manipulating others without their knowledge. You took Reed and Susan Richards' son, replacing him with a cyborg clone who possesses only a fraction of his true abilities. Furthermore, you went so far as to implant a bomb within this clone, as a precaution in case they discovered your sinister experiments on the real Franklin Richards, all in your pursuit of acquiring his powers. Naruto confronted her, as a bed with a child materialized behind him and the screen illuminated. Eventually, the disturbing experiments conducted on Franklin became evident as his chest was mercilessly incised, without the use of any pain relief. The excruciating screams that escaped his lips caught the attention of Carol, who promptly entered the room and commanded the severing of his vocal cords. The child's parents quickly rushed to his side, concerned that he had not regained consciousness despite their efforts. Naruto caught their attention and proceeded to provide an explanation. Your son underwent a distressing experience involving experimentation. I have successfully treated him to the extent that he will not have any visible scars. However, considering the nature of his abilities, I approached his mental well-being with caution. I took measures to prevent him from accessing the memories of his torture by sealing them within a secure mental compartment. I made this decision to avoid any potential harm to him and without your consent. Nevertheless, I believe it is essential to share something with you, although it may raise certain concerns regarding your marriage, Naruto explained calmly from his seated position, as a chair materialized before him. Hey, what's happening? Inquired the individuals present as walls suddenly materialized around them. Meanwhile, a trident-wielding individual collapsed to the ground, overwhelmed by a tremendous wave of hostility directed towards him, as memories were extracted from his mind with less than gentle care. Soon, Reed and Susan were seated, and the topic began. Alright, as I previously stated, there are several approaches I can take to help your son recover from his experiences. However, I want to ensure your consent before proceeding. What I have done so far can be compared to providing initial medical assistance, whereas what I am suggesting now is akin to performing intricate brain surgery, Naruto explained. After we leave this place, I can provide you with the details about your son. Would you prefer to discuss it now? Inquired Naruto. They both exchanged a knowing glance and agreed to request the necessary information. To effectively erase his memories, I propose altering his brain's perception of reality, essentially wiping away any recollection of his torture. This process, however, will be quite demanding, and your son might instinctively resist it, resulting in erratic behavior. To ensure success, I may need to keep him sedated, which could cause temporary discomfort despite the use of anesthetics, Naruto explained. The three of them then engaged in a discussion, carefully considering their options and ultimately agreeing on the plan. Before concluding, Naruto mentioned that he had something important to share. Alright, Reed, brace yourself for some unsettling news. Susan has been involved in a secret relationship with Namor for quite some time without your knowledge. Additionally, I regret to inform you that there may be doubts regarding the paternity of your children, Naruto calmly revealed, his expression devoid of any emotion, delivering the information with utmost directness. That's not true, exclaimed Susan, feeling a mix of shock and fear as her affair was exposed. I can't believe, you must be, Deceiving me, Reed started to say before his brain short-circuited upon seeing a screen displaying Susan and Namor engaged in an intimate act. Time appeared to fly by, but in truth, only a few seconds had passed before the heated argument erupted. "You cheating person," exclaimed Reed as Naruto conveniently took down the barrier before putting it back on. "Why are you blaming me? This is your fault," Susan yelled. "I was the one who suggested counseling, but you refused. Even when I asked if anything was wrong," Reed responded with frustration. "You are the," Susan started to say before her words were abruptly silenced by an unseen force. Reed attempted to utter a few words, but his mouth was unexpectedly sealed shut, resulting in a rather amusing sight as his chin stretched to cover his face. Eventually, the pressure eased, but his mouth remained firmly closed. "All right, it seems that the two of you have some unresolved matters to discuss. However, I kindly request that you address these issues privately, as I will be focusing on providing the best care possible for your son once we leave. Susan, it is evident that you are not being truthful with yourself. The root of the problem lies within you, not Reed. It is important to acknowledge that you experienced postpartum depression after your children were born, but instead of seeking help, you chose to blame Reed for your struggles. Despite this, Reed has been dedicating a significant amount of time to his children, a commitment that many fathers would greatly appreciate." Naruto expressed, "Your husband has achieved financial security for the rest of his life through his numerous unique inventions, earning him significant income. He has made efforts to mend your relationship with your family while you expressed the need for some personal space and engaged in infidelity. We can discuss this matter further at a later time. It is important to acknowledge your role in this situation, as Reed made genuine attempts to make things work. I strongly urge you to seek therapy, or else there may be consequences," Naruto conveyed firmly as they both soared through the air, with Tony Stark being the one he encountered. Once Tony was seated, Naruto started, "All right, I understand that you have recently regained control of your body, and I have already expressed my concerns to you. However, I believe it is in your best interest to discontinue your collaboration with the government," Naruto advised, gesturing for Tony to hold off on any objections as he prepared to elaborate. "Tony, consider who has caused division within the superhero community more than any villain. Who has unjustly targeted heroes for doing what is right? Who attempts to exert control over everything and resort to destruction when they cannot control it? You, Tony, should be well aware of this. Just look at S.H.I.E.L.D. Despite their claims of bravery, their experiments only lead to further harm," Naruto stated, prompting Tony to reflect. "Remember General Ross and how many people he got killed trying to make the Hulk a weapon? How many governments are giving money to people who want to kill mutants? Just for being different. For fuck's sake, I would truly understand if they wanted to get rid of them for threatening the universe or if they were all actually evil. Before you say something, Tony, compared to some of the beings I know are out there, mutants are nothing compared to truly evil beings. Not even Apocalypse or Thanos reach their level of cruelty and evil. Just remember, if I catch word of your world killing or experimenting on mutants again, I will come back and I will kill how many there are doing things like that and show them to the public. Also, stop caring about public image, make a mine in space to get resources, and for fuck's sake never make the choice to destroy another world lightly," said Naruto as he sent Tony flying back, causing him to land on a chair which he slammed into crotch first, causing him to scream out in pain as the others laughed. Naruto's perspective. "All right, who's up next?" I pondered, scanning the crowd and feeling a sense of resignation as I spotted the individual. "All right, this is a group," I stated while presenting the 616 versions of Cyclops, Magneto, Wanda Maximoff, Emma Frost, Storm, Charles Xavier, Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Hope Summers. "All right, please express your thoughts one by one," I stated firmly as Magneto stepped forward. "Why?" he inquired, eliciting a slight smile from me. "Why? Well, I explained the reasons I had for getting involved as much as I did. Personally, I chose to come here because I found your actions to be disappointing. Eric, you often talk about being superior to humans, but in reality, you are just a more powerful version of Hitler. Charles, you are equally responsible for allowing Eric to continue his leadership, resulting in the deaths of countless innocent people. I'm not sure if you've heard this before, but there's a quote that comes to mind. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. It seems to me that you have been quite passive. You didn't invite the Morlocks to your mansion, perhaps because their appearance could have an impact on the image of your school. You seem to be disregarding others like Nightcrawler or Hank," I said, glancing at the others. You chose to follow these two instead of doing what was morally correct. It is rather presumptuous of you to label yourselves as gods, when even I have not achieved such a level, I remarked, raising my hand and manipulating water. Then, I executed an action that deeply unsettled them, while simultaneously restoring Wanda's abilities. I created a fish, a lionfish. I felt no energy being used, not even a trace of it, she started to say as she collapsed from her chair to her knees. Yes, I have the ability to create objects from scratch, I explained. This is made possible by my kryptonian air magi capabilities, which grant me the power to materialize objects using my own energy. Utilizing my extensive array of powers, including reality manipulation, matter manipulation, soul manipulation, space manipulation, time manipulation, gene manipulation, magi powers, and life manipulation powers. I possess the ability to create life itself. Kind of. A miniature werewolf was created by Sentry, emitting rays similar to those of the moon's impact on the Earth, resulting in the transformation of a small human. However, he utilized an existing resource. I did not. I have successfully brought into existence a life that was previously non-existent, solely through my own skills and capabilities. If the fish were to perish, its essence would likely be fiercely sought after by numerous entities, drawn to the extraordinary nature of its soul. One thing to note is that while Sentry created the werewolf without a soul, my fish possesses one. This process can be quite complex, requiring a deeper understanding than one might initially expect. Yes, even as I bring forth existence from nothingness, I maintain a humble perspective. Despite my increasing mastery, I am constantly reminded of the vast distance that separates me from godhood, I reflected, recalling the profound insights that accompanied my acquisition of newfound abilities. Logan, Aurora, Jean, Scott, and Emma, you have all made significant progress in recent years. Before you respond, Scott, please remember that I dealt with the situation involving James Jonah Jameson's soul. So, it would be wise to choose your words carefully before losing your temper, I calmly stated, fully aware of his imminent outburst. Everything I have accomplished is for the improvement of mutants. He started before I cut him off. I must say, I am quite disappointed with your actions. It seems that your motivations were driven by a desire for others to suffer alongside you, rather than any genuine concern for their well-being. Your decision to bring back the rest of the mutants by using Hope as a supposed messiah appears to be a calculated move to ensure that they would experience the same hardships as you. It is disheartening to see you prioritize your own grievances over the struggles of others, especially when there are those who are far worse off than you. Take, for example, the Morlocks, who endure unimaginable hardships, such as one individual who sheds his entire skin, leaving his muscles exposed. It is perplexing that you would overlook their plight. Even Wanda, in her mutant decimation, managed to spare the Morlocks. Your actions, Scott, are truly disappointing. I expressed my frustrations to them. I would eliminate you at this moment, if I didn't recognize the extent of your potential for transformation, I informed him, reflecting on the Scott from my universe. The scar tissue in his eye was successfully removed and healed, thanks to the advanced medical technology provided to assist them. From what I know, he has a genuine talent for art and aspires to become a professional artist. Impressive achievement, not suitable for this one. At this moment, Scott, I am about to undertake an action that I may come to regret in the future. However, for the time being, you should express gratitude towards me, I stated while tending to his eyes. There now, you can see, I remarked, glancing at Logan. Honestly, Logan, I would strongly express my disapproval of your actions involving Mary Jane, who happened to be married at the time. It is worth noting that Peter also engaged in a similar situation with Laura. However, resorting to physical violence is unnecessary, in my opinion, I calmly stated as he took a moment to absorb the information. I didn't watch the scene, I just skipped ahead once Peter and Laura started kissing. I missed approximately 2 entire days, so spider stamina is a real phenomenon. He did what to who? He exclaimed, his voice filled with shock. Aurora glared at him, but her anger went unnoticed. Yes, he spent a significant amount of time with your daughter. It's quite surprising that no unintended consequences arose from their encounter, I remarked, finding pleasure in provoking Logan's anger. He let out a loud scream before losing consciousness in a fit of rage. Well, let's continue, Emma. Please adjust your attitude and demeanor, or else I will have to revoke your powers. Hope to refrain from assisting these individuals until they show improvement. Jean, I expect the same from you. Aurora, please disregard their suggestions when you believe their plans are not sound, I said swiftly. Just as I finished speaking, I received a notification informing me that I successfully accessed Reed Richards' private server and obtained the blueprints for the Cosmic Cube. I am altering it to be different. I have no desire to bring the Beyonders to my universe. However, examining the blueprints will greatly enhance my ability to adapt to other multiverses. Regular cosmic cubes are powered by a small amount of energy from the Beyondverse. What initially drew them to the Marvel multiverse was its captivating nature. What I aim to do is somewhat similar, but with my own expertise. If all goes well, I have the ability to enhance my probes in a way that allows me to explore different multiverses and adapt to their unique environments, even without personally being present in those multiverses. Hopefully. Alright, Charles, I will work on healing your back, but I expect you to make a full recovery. And as for you, Eric, if you dare to claim godlike status once more, I will return and complete what Wanda initiated. Speaking of which, Wanda's attempt to construct an afterlife using chaotic energy was destined to fail, as evidenced by the destruction of her pocket dimension. I calmly addressed them, causing Wanda to visibly react. Wanda, it's important to recognize the immense power you possess as a beyond Omega-level mutant. Your ability to generate pure chaos energy is truly remarkable, independent of any external sources like Cthon. However, it's crucial to remember that your existence is contingent upon the explicit permission of the Living Tribunal. I strongly advise against engaging in actions similar to the House of M or No More Phoenix scenario, as they could have unforeseen consequences. If you proceed without caution, it's likely that someone else will intervene, teaching you a valuable lesson about the dangers of meddling with forces beyond your comprehension, I calmly conveyed, causing Wanda to look at me with a sense of trepidation. It's undeniable that both her and my arrival have had a significant impact on this multiverse, for better or worse. When Wanda created the House of M, she faced the wrath of the entire multiverse. As someone with expertise in dimensions, I have a deep understanding of such matters, particularly due to my position as a high-ranking Dimension Lord. From my understanding, it seems that the multiverse is attempting to counterbalance Wanda, or at least it is striving to do so. It's evident that someone who possesses a natural ability to maintain order was clearly infuriated, as one can imagine Cthon's anger. However, from my understanding, the majority of cosmic entities have reached a consensus, and the Living Tribunal has granted permission for it to occur. Stay tuned for more. And that's a wrap for now. Thank you so much for tuning into this incredible video. If you absolutely loved it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for even more amazing content coming your way.